Hello and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the newer-ish Sigma Ultimate Blending Brush Set, as well as some other brushes from Sigma that I really enjoy. Now I am affiliated with Sigma. It's been probably about 2 years. They sent me like a first intro welcome care package, so I've been trying out their products for quite a long time. So any links in the description box for the brushes that I talk about are affiliate links, so absolutely no pressure if you want to use those or not, and if you do, then thank you so much. And I've been wanting to do a Sigma video in a really long time because I am not the biggest fan of everything they make. I do like a lot of things they make, but I haven't had perfect experiences with this brand, just like really any other brand. I don't think I have a brand that I love all the products from. So I've been kind of putting this video off because when I first tried their eye brushes, I wasn't in love with most of them. There were some that I just immediately fell in love with, and I will talk about that in the demo and then at the end my thought summary kind of on these brushes. But when I saw that they came out with this ultimate blending brush set, and I saw that these are smaller and kind of more considered brushes for eyeshadow, I really wanted to try it out because I've been really wanting them to make smaller brushes. My first experience was that their brushes are way too big for my hooded eyes. I know there's plenty of people that like them and they have hooded eyes and they recommend them, but for me personally, I felt like I didn't have much control. So I only really had 1 or 2 of their blending brushes and then a bunch of other face and eye brushes. So I've been trying out this brush set for about probably 2, maybe 3 months now. I feel like I've been able to form my kind of final thoughts and feelings about these brushes. So I don't remember off the top of my head exactly the numbers of the brushes that I tried previously that I wasn't a fan of. It was like the shader brushes and then 1 or 2 of the blending brushes. I just felt like these shader brushes were way too large for my lid, and then some of the blending brushes were just a little on the stiffer side, which I don't personally like, and also they were a little too large. So when I would go in first with a transition shade in the crease, I felt like it would take the shadow too high up. So that's why I'm really liking some of these brushes from their new set, because they're much smaller. They're giving me much more control in how high up I want to bring my crease shade, my outer crease shade, my lid shade, etc. I just feel like I can really create something that is flattering on my hooded eyes, but as well as other, more kind of editorial fun cut crease looks for Instagram. So I will be giving you my thoughts on each individual brush as I'm using it in the demo, and then at the end just a summary including some of my other favorite Sigma eye brushes. So again, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Good Sport palette, which if you've seen my top 5 favorite fall palettes video, you know this is a really amazing fall palette. So since I already have my base done, I'm gonna put on a shadow shield underneath my eye to just avoid any fallout on my face. I usually do my eyes first, but I kind of just wanted to get my base over with. So here are the brushes from the Sigma set, and I don't really like black bristle brushes because then I can't see what's on them, so I prefer white so I can see if they've been used, if they're dirty, and then I can just use my color switch to just spot clean them off. But I think light brown like this, I don't mind, but it's not preferred. I definitely prefer the white bristles. So as I mentioned in the intro, I have tried quite a few of the Sigma brushes, from face brushes to eye brushes, and let me just start doing something at least. I'm gonna put on the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. So yeah, I've tried some Sigma brushes and some I just absolutely love, and I bought actually backups of it, so I have 2, but there's some brushes that I just didn't like at all. I felt like they were way too big. So I'm really glad that they came out with this brush set, because this brush set is our smaller versions of their regular brushes. But I did try like the lid brush, and it was just so big, and having hooded eyes, it was not ideal. Like I think that brush would have been good. Something like this where I need to cover a lot of area, but it was not good for like cut creases or even just applying shimmer shadows. And then I've also tried some face brushes, one of them being like this triangular under eye brush or something like that, and it was so it just left such a weird streaky texture underneath my eyes. So I personally don't love all of their brushes, but they do have some brushes that are just really, really good. And I will talk more about some of my other favorite brushes that are not in the set from Sigma at the end of the video. But now let's just get started. So I'm going to be using every brush here. I'm first going to go in with E33 and I'll pick up some of this brown shade called High Hopes and I'm going to put in the crease. So what I like about this brush is it's very small, and as you can see it fits really nicely in my crease here without going too far up, because if I had started with something like this, it covers a much wider area, so it would have brought the shadow way too high up for me personally, and I like to kind of start low and build it upwards. For the most part, not always, depends on the look and how dramatic I want it to be. Next, I'm going to go in with Trooper on the same brush, cleaned it off a little bit, and I'm going to put that a little above the shade High Hopes. So next I'm going to use the Diffuser Crease E38 brush, and because this one is bigger, I like using it to just blend out the edges, and I have nothing on it, I'm just using it to blend out the edges further. The only brush in this set that I'm not a huge fan of is the Firm Blender E44. It looks like this. Let me show it to you next to the E33 brush that I really like. And fuller, and something else that really matters to me when it comes to brushes is their like bendability, so to speak. And so this one, as the name says, is much firm, and this one's much more bendy. And also in comparison to my eye size, it's a bit big. And because of that, this wouldn't be the first brush I would go in with when creating a look. Next, I'm gonna put in a deeper shade on the outer crease here. And this brush, E27 from the set, is a smaller version of their E25. And I love that because it's perfect for packing on color on the lid into the crease. So I'm gonna go in with Trophies. It's just like the perfect size, and it fits right in here. And I just kind of stamp it on and like start to blend out the edges with this brush. So in comparison, see how much bigger this is, so I wouldn't really be able to have much control here and packing on just in this little outer edge. Next, I'm gonna use the brush that I think is an absolute must-have if you have hooded eyes, and this is the E42. And it's just so perfect for blending out like little areas like the other crease. So I picked up just a little bit. I'm going to use circular motions and just kind of blend it out with the edge here a little bit more. I think the flatter blending brushes are good for packing on color, but they're not necessarily my favorite for going in and blending out edges because they are so flat. I feel like I need something more fluffy. I don't want to bring this up too high. So next, this is not from the set, but it's one of the brushes I love, and this is the Shader Lid E56. And it's just the perfect little cut crease brush. I'm gonna use my P. Louise base. And just fading out the other edge here. So I have a concealer brush, F70, but I actually like using it to pack on the lid because this is just perfect size, it's small, and their other shader brushes or just packing on shimmer brushes are much too large and not flat enough. So I like using this concealer brush on my lid. I think it would be pretty good for cut creases as well, even though it does have a little bit too much thickness compared to the E56. Going in with EBB, and I'm putting that in the center of my lid. And then going in with Licious on the inner crease, on the inner lid. Look just how metallic these are, it's so amazing. So I'm gonna do the other eye and then we're gonna do the lower lash line. So I'm back and I put on some lashes and I also did my brows. So now I'm gonna be doing the lower lash line, and for that I'm gonna use my favorite brush ever. And this is the Pencil E30 brush. This is what it looks like. And I have 2 of these, and that's how much I love them. So underneath my lower lash line, I'm going in with Reckless. And you can just see how perfectly it fits right in there without going too far into like my under eye crease. And then I'm gonna add the Melt Cosmetics All Day Everyday eyeliner in 420 in my waterline. And so this is the finished look with the new Sigma Ultimate Blending Brush Set and some of my other favorite Sigma brushes as well. So let me give you my kind of summarized thoughts on the brush set as well as some other brushes that I like from Sigma. I think that the brush set is a really great value, especially if you want to try out some Sigma brushes. They're definitely known as a high quality brand for brushes as well as makeup. So these brushes do have a warranty on them and they will last you a really, really long time. So I think they're a really great investment, and they do have sales pretty often. So I used almost all the brushes in the Ultimate Brush Set except E25 and E44, which are these 2 brushes. And this might just be personal preference, but I'm not a fan of these kinds of brushes in general. And I've had this kind of brush before and I have some still and I just never reach for them. And I think that might be because they are for the most part large and I just prefer to blend out the crease with a nice round fluffy brush. But I think it's a little baby E27 that they've come out with is really good, and I've been reaching for this for my outer lid all the time. I love it so much. So I definitely recommend this one if you have smaller lid space or just hooded eyes. The other brush that I didn't use in this video, but I have used it previously, is the E44 brush, and it's this one. And it's a little too dense for me and too firm. And also the size of it compared to my lid space, it's not my favorite. The E38 brush, which is this black brush, again, I don't really like black bristle brushes, but this one's pretty good. It's not too big, but it is on the like kind of mid-range, so I would not go in with this first in my crease. For that, I would use the E33 brush, which is this brush, and I love this one. I've been using it also non-stop. It's really perfect in the crease. And then lastly, the E42 brush. This is so good. And if you wanted to get less brushes, you could just get the E42 over this little mini one, because essentially you could do the same thing with this one that you do with this one, which is pack on in the outer crease. But I do like that this is a little flatter, and so it covers just a little bit more area and it really fits in perfectly in my outer crease. So now on to some other Sigma brushes that I've been using for probably 2 years now at least, and that are my tried and true that are not in this set. This one is the Shader Lid E56. Now, I don't really like applying shimmers with this. I think it's a little too flat. And this brush I love using for cutting the crease. It's just got the perfect size. And because of that, I think it's really good for beginners who are just starting to get into cut creases. And it will allow you to go little by little when you're starting out with learning how to do a cut crease. Then for a shader kind of shimmer application brush, I don't really love the shapes that they have of those brushes, so I like using the Concealer F70 brush. It's smaller than their lid shader brushes, which is kind of funny to me since it's a concealer brush. But regardless, I love using this for shimmer application because it has a rounded tip on it and it picks up shimmers really nicely. Next is the E30 Pencil Brush, and I love this brush so much, and that's why I have 2 of them. I just gotta always make sure I have a clean one on hand to use. And this is my everyday brush, and I've had these for a couple of years. So in my tutorials, you'll see I use this pretty much 99% of the time to go underneath my lower lash line. But I also absolutely love it for creating a shadow wing. I think that's something that I've always wanted to do and struggled with with hooded eyes, and then I got that brush and I just tried it out for that, and it's been honestly life-changing ever since then. So next, the other brush that I have two of is the winged liner E06, and this brush has such an interesting shape to me. It's very, very slim and the angle is pretty steep on it, but it's not like the usual winged eyeliner brush. So for example, here it is next to the Sigma Beauty small angle E65 brush. If you can see, it's much more petite, but I also love using it for other detail works, such as like colorful lines in the crease to just kind of outline the cut crease. It's really perfect for that because it is so slim, and the angle just makes it work so much better than any other like regular fine tip eyeliner pencils that I have. So I would highly recommend it, even if you would just want to do a black wing and you like using gel eyeliners. So lastly, the other brush I want to talk about is this small angle A65. I use this sometimes to fill in my brows with powder, and I think you could also use it as eyeliner, but you do have just a little bit less control with this, in my opinion. So I will be doing a video on just in general my favorite eye brushes at some point in the future. It's gonna be quite a bit of work, which is why I haven't kind of dove into it, because I really want to talk about in detail about the brushes that I have, why I love them so much, and really dive into all the aspects of blending brushes and eye brushes. So this is just like a quick take on Sigma in particular, but in my favorites brush video I will be talking about other brands as well and comparing them to Sigma. So that is all for this video. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.